Tariffs and the luxury market. Let's talk about it. I want to have a quick discussion, and feel free to chime in the comments below about how President Trump's new tariffs that he announced yesterday will be affecting the luxury goods markets, especially Hermès, Chanel, Goyard, like those things like that. So if that's something you're interested in, stick around. Okay, as you know, yesterday he announced the tariffs for the EU. I believe it's about 20% on imported goods. So most of our luxury designer bags, especially Hermès, Chanel, Louis Vuitton, Goyard, they're made in France. Little background, okay, so those brands are all made in France. You know, your Pradas, your Gucci's, most of them made Bottega, Fendi's, all those things are made in Italy, and then, you know, Loewe made in Spain, I believe, other brands too. This 20% tariff now is going to increase the cost for the US for all these goods. Clothes, bags, shoes, everything that's brought from France. Hermès is, if we focus on Hermès is completely made in France. They pride themselves on being made in France. So everything will be tariffed. So I don't know if that import tariff is gonna hit right away. And if it does hit right away, it's gonna be 20% 20% tariff on the declared value. I think it's the declared value of the item. So probably the retail price. So let's say a $10,000 bag will now be $12,000. And I think the price increase is gonna just hit the US market. This is my opinion, what do you guys think? But I think it's gonna hit the US market and they're gonna just increase the price for US consumers. I think that Perspoff said that the CEO of Hermès said that they're probably just gonna give the whole tariff to the US and the US consumers and customers will be okay with that. Debatable. Also, as always, thank you to Perspoff and Monica for all the information. So the price of your bag now will be even more from the store, and the price of all the other goods will be even more from the store. I don't know if Hermès is going to do the price increases right away. They generally do a price increase once a year at the beginning of the year. So maybe this will take into effect next year with their prices, and they'll, you know, account for it and adjust properly, or they're going to have another price increase at some point this year. Chanel does 2 price increases a year, so I'm sure they're going to factor it in. Most of Chanel is not made in France anymore. I mean, it's made in other countries, but it's still all going to be taxed. So that Chanel price is going to go up too. All the other brands are going to go up too. Now it's going to be even more expensive to buy these bags in the US. So this is probably going to also increase the resale market. So if you're planning on getting a bag, if you're planning on getting something, I would say get it now before the tariff actually affects the prices and it's get factored into the prices, because at 20% more for everything, resale market's going to go up, the value's going to go up of all these things. And now I feel like it's an even bigger case and more in your favor to go to France and try to buy these things, or go to Europe and try to buy these things, because there's already a price difference of about 25 to 30%. You know, there's a pretty good price difference with the VAT and the tax, and now adding 20% on top, and then tax on that too, the regular tax. So the gap is going to be wider. I don't know if the EU is going to increase their prices home too, because I feel like a lot of people will now go to Europe to shop and try to get the things there because they're even less. But the EU might have to overcompensate the loss in the US by increases the prices in France and the rest of the European Union too. So worth talking about, worth thinking about. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments below. I don't know how soon this is going to take into effect, but it's definitely going to affect the price of all these goods. There's an argument to be made that maybe the luxury good stores should eat the cost themselves, because they already are making such a high profit margin. So that 20% should be eaten into their cost and just less profit for them. But that obviously is going to affect their whole, like, not only their stock value, their Hermès stock is down, Louis Vuitton stock is down. It's going to affect that. It's going to affect how much they put out, like product and like their whatever labor, everything like that. Blah blah blah. But also the other thing is, okay, so Hermès is one, Chanel, Louis Vuitton. In the Perspoff article, she talked about the price. I mean, we don't know if Louis Vuitton is going to follow suit, but Louis Vuitton does have factories in the US. Have, I think, 2 factories in California, 1 in Texas. So maybe all their US bags are now going to come out of those factories, or like Bernard Arnault is going to try to build more factories in the US because they already do, and have them make more product. I don't think Hermès is going to do that. And even if they do, Perspoff talked about this too, but there's also this like prestige about getting it made in France, like actually handmade in France by those artisans. If it's made in the US, will it lose its value? Will it lose its prestige? Will people not want to get it as much? will the ones in the US be made in the US be less? Like what, like, is there a new thing there? I don't know if that's going to happen, but like a lot of these companies are deciding they have to either build factories in the US, not just luxury, but everywhere right now. If they have to build a factory in the US, they lose that tariff and it's cheaper to build the factory in the US, especially like clothing, like Nike and things like that, because the tariff is so high where they're making it in China or Vietnam that it might be more economical and make more sense for them to actually make the items, to build a new factory or start increase the factory production in the US is more cost efficient for them versus the high tariff. Make sense? So I don't know if Louis Vuitton's going to do that or if Hermès is going to follow, or Hermès definitely isn't going to follow suit, but that might be, I don't know, another way of looking at it. I don't know what you guys think. Let me know in the comments below. Sorry, this is a little all over the place and this just came out yesterday. I'm trying to get my thoughts right away, and I'm happy to do a follow-up and talk more about this and start the discussion, but I want to hear what you guys think. Let me know in the comments below. Okay, so again, we're talking about